All righty. Welcome everyone to BYC, the June edition. Hey there, Dave. How are you
Hey,
doing?
hey, Dave, how you doing? It's funny. This was the first thing I wanted to ask you about, and I was like, oh man, I don't want to spoil your video. But oh man, happy Sunday. Good morning. Y'all got your cup of coffee? Because I know I do.
I'm not a coffee drinker, but I got my big old can of smoothie here. So,
Ooh, there you go.
mm, yeah,
Nice.
never got into
Oh
the
man,
coffee myself.
you're better off.
Well, yeah, I mean, some people say that, and it's like anything else in the world, right? Weren't eggs horrible for us a couple decades ago, and then they got better for us again? And coffee's horrible, but one a day is not bad, or something. Or I don't know. It goes back and forth all the time, doesn't it?
It's all relative, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's all relative.
Yeah, I mean, if
Oh
you're
man,
if you're drinking a gallon of coffee a day, you're probably not in a good spot, I would imagine.
something like that. I try to stick to two, maybe sometimes three, but two is
Oh,
is where I live at.
2 to 3
But
cups a day. All right, Dave. Well,
so,
yeah, go ahead. You say.
no, I was gonna say. So tell us about the owl there. Did you give it a name? I don't think you. I know you have Porter the porcupine.
No, I never did give it a name. Um, yeah, quite an interesting little adventure I had. This little owl creature. Up at Bonsai Acres. I've heard and seen some owls up there before. Just seen silhouette of, I think, what great horned owl, probably just a huge thing compared to this little guy. And this little guy's about full grown. I mean, it's about as big as they get. It's a northern saw wet owl, Sawwhet, saw-whet owl.
Okay.
Very unique sighting. I thought I hit it with my rake. It was so freaky, but what a cool thing to just be outside and just something you just don't see very often, right? I mean,
I,
how many people are going to bump into that?
I mean, I've seen an owl at night. I've never seen one during the day
Yeah,
that isn't like at a wildlife sanctuary or something like that. So,
exactly. That's right.
and especially a baby owl. So I hope it found its mom and dad eventually.
Yeah,
So, oh my
absolutely.
gosh, jeez.
So that was pretty cool adventure. And it forced me to slow down, and I spent about 20 minutes like yapping with it and looking at it and trying to went into the woods just barely, but kept its eye on me and finally went deeper. So it was pretty cool. So took a
So
time to take a
you're
break.
back home.
What's
You're
that?
back home now. You're back home now. Not at Bonsai Acres now.
Yeah, so now I'm back home, just doing a couple things here in the metro area and seeing some people, being social. The wonderful thing about Bonsai Acres is it's peaceful, it's quiet, it's serenity, it's calm, it's my zen, it's amazing. I work my butt off. I'm alone, but I can't be alone too long. I mean, I don't want to become a hermit, or um, um, a total introvert. So I come home and saw some friends and going to see my mom today, and just be with people, hang out a little bit, and then I'll go back up tomorrow and have another week of adventures, I hope.
That's very cool. And you had some triple root bonsai stuff going on yesterday, right? You at Gerton's.
Yeah, so we were at Gerton's again, our favorite little hot spot. They've been really treating us well, and we did a little pop-up kind of a demo, we're calling it, pop-up demo, where my buddy Mark and I were out there under the gazebo. We just go and we pick up a tree. The nursery allows us to go pick up a tree that, or a variety of a tree, bush, shrub, whatever, that we can turn into a respected bonsai, hopefully in future. And we go to it, and we didn't even get done with our tree, and people started coming up, and a couple people sat with us and wanted to work on a tree. And so that's the scoop. If they advertise it as a pop-up, you want to come on by, Mark or Dave or whoever's there, we'll work on a tree with you, talk bonsai. And we were there for a total of about 4 hours instead of 3, because we had people come up and we were working with people and working on bonsai and talking to a lot of people about the craft and them getting our information. And it's just really cool to see the excitement about people that everybody thinks bonsai is cool, Dave, right? I mean, doesn't
Yeah.
everybody just say that? Isn't that cool? Don't they look cool, right?
Anytime that I talk to somebody about it, they always feel like it's like this mysterious craft. Like
Yeah,
it's this
exactly.
thing that you gotta constantly be working at. And really, I mean, Yeah, who was it when you? It's like when you're talking to Dan over on the Pacific
Yeah.
side of the state country over there. You can sometimes it was I think what did he say, a lazy man's hobby. It could be, So I really could be. I mean,
Well,
we could all, as long as you water them, I guess.
yeah, I mean that's the biggest thing is keeping them alive. I mean, we joke about that with the folks just yesterday, and the workshops that we do through the Minnesota Bonsai Society. You got to keep it alive, and once you've played with it, I mean, yeah, we've stressed the tree out big time in a workshop, but keep it alive for a year, and then enjoy the journey from there. And you know, it really that's our mission with Triple Root Bonsai is we're constantly, and I've always been, this is attainable. Sit down and have fun. And what's really cool about this too, Dave, is even if they don't ever want to get deep into bonsai like you and I are, or people who watch on the BYC, you can have a tree and it really doesn't take that much time. I mean, yeah, you can kill it pretty quickly. If you ignore it for a week or two in the summer, it's gone, it's dead. If you ignore it for a couple of days, it could be dead, right? So yeah, it can get away from people. And so that's where I think they don't have the time, but it's like anything else in life. Nothing wonderful or good or fantastic comes to you easily. There's some things that have work involved, and gosh, I tell people literally, I mean, if you can pay attention to your tree for 30 to 60 seconds a day, that's it.
Yeah, that's all you really need.
You spend more time washing your hands these days, with the ABC song a couple of times, and brushing your teeth. I mean, like, oh my gosh, look at your tree. If it needs water, give it water, and then you check it the next day. It's easier than a dog or a child. It just sits there once it finds its home, right?
Yeah, or if you wanted to, yeah, I mean it's more work obviously, but you can set up a watering system if you really wanted to. That's one thing that I'm going to be hopefully doing this summer. Oh, what does Mike say? With over 400 trees, I'm always busy. Yeah, 400. That's more than me. I think my count was at like 150, but mostly pre-bonsai.
Yeah.
But
I think we've talked about this before, Dave, and I think it's a conversation with hobbyists that'll always ebb and flow. Depends on where they are in their hobby. And I'm now 10 years in, and I really wish right now, and I've had a tough year. I've lost some trees, and it's just I've been busy. Personal stuff, Bonsai Acres keep me busy, which I absolutely love. But I couldn't handle 150 trees right now. I don't know that I mean, I have a lot in the ground up at Bonsai Acres, but they're in the ground. I mean, it's Mother Nature and a little watering from time to time. I'm good, but I would like to have right now in my collection like 12 good trees.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, that's what I'm going for right now in my journey. I want 12 trees, so I'm not overwhelmed, that are really starting to take shape, that I'm proud to show people.
Yeah, I feel like eventually I will get somewhere along that way. But I feel like, I mean, I'm still 2023 or 2024 or something like that. I'm still about 3 or 4 years in. So
You're a rookie, man. You're still a rookie.
I'm a rookie over here.
Yeah.
But I still enjoy playing with the various types of trees and finding out what I do like. But I am starting to narrow in a little bit on what I am liking. Like I'm finding myself more into deciduous trees and less tropical just because my climate. So, what do we got? Oh, is that your boxwood you pruned up there?
Yeah, I just like, since we're talking about trees and species you like. So yeah, so what are you honing in on? Give us a little more on what you're honing in on, do you think, at this stage?
Well, I mean, ideally, I'm preferring to get more trees that are native to my area. So any type of maples, or I'm really starting to push my eastern redbud. Even though it's not great for, the leaves get big.
Yeah.
I feel like over time, I don't see a lot of people pushing that in bonsai, and it just has such beautiful flowers. And I feel like it has huge potential.
Yeah.
That's one that I'm going after.
Nice.
Loving the dawn redwoods, loving the bald cypress. I have plenty of those now, but yeah, and of course the ginkgo too. Like so many different ones. How about you? Where are you honing in these days?
Well, I love my larch. I did lose a lot of larch this year, which is really frustrating. But it's Minnesota. It's a hardy tree here. I really want to get into some focusing on larch here with a bigger, better larch down the road here. I got a lot in the ground for future larch, so I'm going to focus on that in the ground to see how they do in northern Minnesota, which they should just do fantastic. They're growing very well in the ground right now. And I never thought I'd be a pine guy, but pines are really hardy and good up in the ground there up north too at Bonsai Acres. So I have a lot of varieties of pine right now, just and junipers and pines in the ground, and I'm just going to continue to experiment and play. And I like that I get to play with stuff in the ground now. And I'm just going to leave it in there for 3 to 5 to 10 years. I mean, that's going to be exciting where I don't have to put them in a cold frame. I don't have to bring them to my apartment. That's where I'm kind of honing my thing right now. But larch will be the main key. I would recommend boxwood to anybody who doesn't have a boxwood. I mean, they're just a fun little tree that looks gnarly from the get-go because their bark is so rough. The roots are, I mean, if you look at this tree and on the picture here from 2020, that's this larch I picked up at a store. And it's like, oh, it's interesting movement down there. It kind of forms into a twin trunk. It goes low. And it turns out it's very similar to a tree that I saw on a rock on a hike with my son. And I'm like, I'm going to put this, eventually I said, I'm going to put this over a root over rock. And so, here's the tree where it was before I touched it a week ago or so. And that's the rock it's been on for 2 years. And you can notice I raised it up out of the ground. And so those are all exposed roots there under the trunk. And not all those roots will be final roots. Some of those will prune back. And some of the ones that are thickening up will be the ones that hug the rock. And it's just a really long, slow work in progress, which is what bonsai is. And it's been fantastic, right?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
And then I took a little snapshot here of how I left it after my last video. Now it's a little bit harder to see. It's washed out with the screen in the background here. And that's a snapshot of my video actually. But now I got it in a box, brand new rock where there's 3 areas where the rock is just going to start peeking through the roots. And after another year or 2 in this box and trimming some of those roots to see root and rock and raise that thing up another inch or 2 in a new fun pot in a couple of years, this is what I'm excited about. It's like, what's exciting for me is, this goes back to Dan, my video with Dan. When we watch Dan, and controversial or not, when you look at his trees, we all have to step back again and think about this with Dan. The man is 87 years old, Dave, and he's been doing this for 60 plus years, right? Hold on one sec. Hold on one sec.
Uh-oh. Mystery. Intrigue. Where's he going?
I had to plug in my computer. I was losing you all here.
Okay.
So, and nothing to take away from anybody in this craft, Dan or anybody, but when you go to a collection like that, people have to remember, at least I stop and pause and go like, okay, but this man's been doing it for 60 plus years. These are trees that are decades old. And some of them, what do you say, 2000 for that one? I mean, when you have trees like that, and again, I think Dave must have mentioned, Dave Stott, I don't know, someone mentioned quality versus quantity. They're all a lot of them are collected trees that were in the ground for decades. And so I don't know how many times he had a stick in a pot like us. And he was able to do that in his career and made a great career for what he did. He was a landscaper for a while, then went to this bonsai. But so for me, going back to this tree now, I've had this tree for almost my entire bonsai journey. It was one of the first boxwoods I ever owned. It's still alive. That's an accomplishment, almost 10 years in the works. It's so much different than this. I mean, look at that thin little thing. And if you turn that sideways, it's about the thickness of a piece of paper.
Wow.
And then it turned into that 6 years later. And then when I trimmed it up a little bit and made a few new pockets in it and just opened it up a little bit, you can start to see the trunk of the tree up there about midway through. And that's just a slight little prune after my repot. And I mean, it's just a fun journey, right? And when you can see progress on your tree, that's what I think keeps us going, whether you have 145 trees or not. When I walk out in my yard or up at Bonsai Acres and I see a new bud, I see a new leaf, I see, especially spring, man, it is the most exciting time of year, isn't it?
Every single day I go out to my garden, I'm like, this one's starting to pop up here a little bit more. This one finally woke up from dormancy. And like you were saying, like, it's fun to watch the evolution. And maybe that's why I really enjoy, especially just growing stuff from seed though, but because you really do see the evolution of, going from nothing. It's like your kids growing up. I mean, that's about as close as I can get to an analogy for it, but it's just the evolution of watching it go from one thing to another. And then if you really want to, you can hit the reset button and go in a completely different direction if you wanted to.
Yeah.
So
it's the glory of the art form. I mean, whether the tree dies, whether the tree loses a branch, whether hail hits it, whether it falls on the ground from a squirrel or whatever, or you get a new tree from a new I mean, there's just so many different avenues. I like this tree for 5-10 years. Now I go to this tree later on. I mean, yeah, it's so malleable, right? It's going to ebb and flow, and it's such a cool thing.
Yeah.
And I like what Steve has to say here too. It is a lifestyle for us. I mean, most of us are just so into it. And if you're retired, it certainly becomes your lifestyle. If you're someone like you, Dave, who's still young, family, and you have more of a juggling act, I would imagine, than we all do, right? You still got to juggle family and life and work and all that. And I'm close to retirement, but Steve, yeah, it's a lifestyle. And he kind of chuckles when people say they want one. But in my point to the one, not that I'm trying to argue with Steve here, is I think too many people think having a cool bonsai tree is you can't do it. It's just not attainable. And I just don't think that's accurate. It's what Steve maybe is referring to, and what we all joke about is like, we just can't have one. I mean, oh my gosh, we're so addicted and we just need more. And we'll just love a tree to death if we don't have something else to work on. So but most people don't seem as dedicated as us. They're like, oh, it's just so hard, I'll never do it. And they just give up right away. So it's like, well, but if you want one cool tree, do you have a house plant right now? You can have a bonsai tree. It just takes a little more work with maybe winter storage, a little more work with some repot pruning things once in a while. But my gosh, you could have a couple of years where you're doing nothing but enjoying your tree.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think it's a commitment on a daily commitment for watering. Yeah. So I mean, you have to commit to that unless you put your tree into some type of garden soil that would be able to retain the moisture a lot more. But I will say, a daily commitment. If you can at least go out there, water it for, depending if you have one tree, go out there, get your morning cup of coffee, pour some, get your container out there. But if you have one tree, you can do it 30 seconds. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like you said earlier. But yeah, if you want to have a show worthy tree, like, I think what Steve was getting at is like, it is a commitment.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And if you do want a show worthy tree and you want to improve your craft, learn from people who know what they're doing. Yeah. And that might be way beyond just the BYC. That's like when Andrew Robson comes through the town and comes to a Minnesota Bonsai Society function. If I'm not there listening to his speech, I've wasted some valuable information and learning, right?
Yeah.
When Jonas Dupuis was in town last year and judging our state fair, if you don't spend time with Jonas and hang with a professional who is in town talking bonsai, how do you ever expect to increase your craft? I mean, Dave and Dave can give you some pointers. We can tell you what worked in our backyard. Steve can do the same thing. So can Dave Stott and all the people on here. But improve your game and put a little money possibly and effort into increasing your craft.
Yeah, I know you mentioned Andrew Robson, and I was listening to one of his podcasts recently where he was talking about setting your bonsai goals, and whether you whether that be you want to just have a nice couple little trees in the backyard, or whether you want to have show-worthy trees. And it made me think, like, I think for my goal right now, I don't know if I necessarily need to have a show-worthy tree at the moment. I'm at the level where I want to be able to have trees that I can go in my backyard, enjoy. If somebody comes over and looks at my trees, tell a little story about each one. But I don't know if I'm at the level that I don't really have a huge desire to show my trees. Yeah. I mean, maybe one day, but maybe in just like a bonsai, local bonsai club. But that might change 5 years from now.
It might, and I never thought I'd go to the National Expo. I went last year, and I went with Steve. And I met Steve out there, and really for me, it's more about the community. So, hanging out with Steve and hanging out with some bonsai people that I've learned, gotten to know over the last couple of years. It was as much, if not more, about that than it was the actual trees. And the trees were phenomenal, and the trees were amazing, and they're inspiring, and it's like super cool. So I would tell people to go to shows, but you also have to go to shows remembering that those were, again, years and possibly decades in the making. And so you can't go there and get depressed and thinking you'll never get there. But again, it depends upon your journey. And so I appreciate that you're still at the stage where, like, I don't even know if I'll show a tree right now. I have no aspirations of showing a tree per se. I just want to go talk about trees with people. And you all know that I want to have this tree right up here. That picture of that tree is up at Bonsai Acres. I hope everybody on this BYC, if they're in the States and come on over to Bonsai Acres, would come and talk about that tree with me. And I can tell you that tree's journey. And we can talk about other trees, and we can, have some community and just really enjoy this craft. So super cool. Steve brought up another one right here. That's very true. It does make traveling tough.
It sure does.
So you got to have a backup plan. And then I've mentioned that too in some past talks we've had. I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but the backup plan is huge. I wouldn't stop life. I want to travel. So I better have a backup plan if I'm going to travel up at Bonsai Acres, my place here. If I need someone to water my things, yeah, they can't water like I can, but if they can water them to keep them alive for a week while I'm gone, I don't want to just stop, doing some travel because it's what I love to do. But yeah, it's tough. It is tough to balance all of that for sure.
Yeah, I was. That is one thing that I do want to do because I want to go. I have kids, my wife, and I want to go on family vacation for like a week or so at some point in this year. So that I'm actually looking into. I messaged with some folks in the bonsai community here about. I saw one of their setups here, and I was like, hey, in one of the videos, I was like, how do you have your water set up? And they sent me like the entire like links to everything, how to like buy everything. So I'm going to be getting a watering setup sometime soon and go on some vacations, hopefully.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I have my indoor little drip system that I'm going to keep on 6 of my trees here when I'm up at Bonsai Acres and continue to work on that. And then I have my automatic systems up there when I'm not up there in case it doesn't rain. Sprinklers are not the way to go, but they're going to save your trees.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you got tons of that up there.
Yeah, it won't be the best scenario, but it'll save the trees and tell you, and this automatic stuff is pretty impressive these days. So you can do some pretty amazing things. But when you have a whole bunch of trees, unless it's like a nursery, which I'm kind of developing up there in some ways, if you have a nursery with 50 of the same trees and you sprinkle them, it's like, okay, well, they all need the same amount of water. But if you have 5 different tree varieties that need different water needs, that's hard to have a sprinkler on, So
yeah, absolutely, man. What we got here? My succulent bonsai don't miss me when I travel for a week. That is true. I am jealous of the succulent game there. Although I have bad luck. Well, I shouldn't say I have bad luck. Maybe I have poor management. So I brought some of my succulents outside, probably about a month or so ago, and I did not cover them with any type of cover. And I think they got a little waterlogged. So I'm trying to slowly nurse them back to life. Hopefully I didn't get
you say that because I took all my PAs out of my apartment and I brought them all up to Bonsai Acres, and I had some stock from Weigert's Nursery for workshops. So we have them for future workshops and everything. And they were looking just, okay here. They were in decent shape here. And my PAs had a tough time indoors this year. I don't know if it's my water or what, or my care, like you said, who knows? But I brought my stuff out to Bonsai Acres now, and they're outside in the elements, man. And oh my gosh, the ones that I got from Weigert's are loving life. They're just like shooting up all this growth, and they're just outside in the elements and wind and sun and rain. And oh my gosh, are they happy? So I mean,
man,
when you have the right spot and you have the right conditions, of course, you can just get so much growth.
Now, do you you say you leave it out in the rain? Like, I don't know, maybe it's not like we got a crazy amount of rain. Maybe it's like consistent amounts of rain that would cause the waterlog.
I know when people have PAs outside, if there's a really big storm or it's a long, rainy day, or there's clouds for a couple days in a row and a huge dumping of rain, people bring their trees inside. And I think that's probably a good thing. There hasn't been that much rain up there at Bonsai Acres this year to cause me any concern yet. But it's something I certainly would, ask other people here on BYC what they're doing with their PAs, because I still, in the summer back, years ago, I was watering my PAs, every day, like my other trees, and they loved life and they were fantastic, and if it's in good, relatively new bonsai soil and draining, it's probably okay, but I certainly didn't have to water every day. I probably shouldn't have. So now I'm not watering every day anymore, but they're not getting waterlogged yet. So that's good.
Okay. Gotcha. We gotta have somebody, a succulent master like Dave, come on sometime and talk to us about succulents. And then who's the other one? Was it Coffee and Bonsai with Tom? He's always a great succulent master over there.
Yeah, Dave, you got to come on the show with us. Next time we talk, Dave, you got a month to plan it out, Dave. What are we going to talk about? We'll have the 3 Daves. We'll talk succulents with Dave Cubed.
Oh, I was just going to say Dave Cubed. I love it. That's amazing.
Dave Cubed. So I want to show you all something. This picture is on my, the little deck on Bonsai Acres, looking out south towards the decrepit larch bog. Unfortunately, too bad it's not, a lively one. But look at the foliage on the land right there. And look at a month and look at a month later.
My God. Wow. That's crazy.
Pre now.
Life finds a way.
It's so amazing how different this place looks in the summer versus the winter, fall, spring. And now it's like, oh my gosh, you can't even see half of the, half of the screen is now covered with foliage.
Oh my gosh. I see that in the first thing. I don't know how it is over there, but over here on the East Coast, we're having a big tick problem right there. All I think about is, oh man, ticks.
Did you watch my last video when I pulled off a tick live during my videotaping?
Oh, did I miss that? I must have missed that one. Oh my gosh.
I'm working on this tree. And all of a sudden I felt something on my arm and I went like tick and I just kept going.
No. Oh my gosh. That scares me. Oh man. Well, I guess as long as you have long pants on and yeah, I'm not a fan of ticks.
Yeah, long pants I wear a lot and it's you deal with it. You just are those aspens? Yes, those were aspens. A lot of quaking aspens there, my friend, for sure. What do we got here? I'm using a clear plastic tarp over succulents when heavy rain. Same as Coffee with Tom. Way to go. Yes, those are aspens. Certainly not an expert here, but PAs are my favorite bonsai. I'm using a mix of greenhouse and outdoor benches for my PAs. I try to get them outside as much as possible. Thanks, Eric. Yeah, it's funny. It's so intriguing to me. This hobby is hard enough. We talk about how, you can have a tree or two and have success, but then we kind of got to go on the other side of the coin. It's amazing how someone will have such luck with PAs and other people go like, I can't grow those. It's like, unless you really microanalyze what's going on. Why is that? It's so crazy.
I'm not sure. I'm like, I'm kind of the area that doesn't really have great luck. I still have a few, but I probably killed like 5 different PAs and crassulas over the years.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think for me I get root rot. So it's like Dave was saying there about having the tarp over top.
Yeah.
I probably should set aside a small area of my garden to just be covered with my succulents over there, but they still get the full sun. So yeah, I'm not sure. What's Steve say? What did you name the owlet?
No name.
No name.
I probably shouldn't name it because I'll never see it again. It'll make me sad. Porter the porcupine came back to visit a couple times, but he's been gone. But I don't know.
What?
We'll just call him the owlet.
Just the owlet. I wonder if those little dots on its head right there, or if that's like a fingerprint of an owl. Like if you were to see the owl one day, if like, oh, you're matching the dots, or if that's just random.
I think that's the start of its coloring. If you look up the saw-whet owl, SAWWHET, the northern saw-whet owl, you'll see they don't get much bigger. Like you could, it wouldn't be much bigger than my hand, right?
Okay.
My hand, this right here, that's about how big the owlets get. Like, the owls, if I held that owl by its feet, it would only be another hand big. They're pretty tiny. But you can see some of the interesting colors they have. And I think this little one is starting to get some of its, juvenile feathers because it's got all the fuzz still everywhere, right? And it's starting to grow some feathers. So that's what my take is.
Have you ever thought about getting into birding? Because I feel like too many hobbies. I have too many hobbies. But I'm like, you know what? I feel like I could.
I'll tell you what I want to do, and this is people are going to laugh who watch my Bonsai Acres series. But when I slow down, what I really would love to do when I have a couple of places on my property, even if it's just my hammock. And I just want to sit in my hammock with my camera, with my telephoto lens on. And when I see something fly by and go land on a tree or go land on my property or do whatever, I just want to be on the ready to just take pictures of wildlife, right? And even if I go on Shinrin Yoku's, I want to bring my camera, walk real slowly, see if I don't scare some things and get some pictures. So yeah, whether I become a full-fledged birder or not, I doubt it, but I want to capture what's up there at Bonsai Acres.
Oh man, you can start like a little log book of all the native birds that are in the area. Like, oh, got that one, got that one, got that one. Right. And it's crazy, even what getting off topic of bonsai here, but like even how far it is like there's an app I think that you can just put out there and you can identify what the bird is.
Yeah,
It's
by how it sings. Yes. Yeah.
crazy.
Very, very cool. So as
Man.
I sit with my bonsai, work on my bonsai, and I know this does not compare in the least, everybody. So don't be texting me and giving me a hard time here. But you know, oh, I'm gonna forget his name now. Is it who's the guy over in Greece? Is it Arfik?
Oh, I'm gonna butcher his name. I know you're talking about it. He has a lot of silent videos.
He's out in Greece or whatever, like in the mountains or whatever, and he's got all this nature sounds. And you got the mountains behind him. Who am I thinking about, everybody? I can't think of the name.
I can probably Google his if I type it in. Hold on, Arca. Somebody, maybe Steve, Nim, anybody help us out here? Oh man, I can't even spell.
We're just gonna bore people as we look for it here, but
we'll find it.
But
yeah, he's got great videos.
His videos are so wonderful and it's so peaceful. There it is. It is Archithos Bonsai. I was so close.
You were very close.
Archithos Bonsai. I almost had him on the expo last year.
Oh,
and it didn't work out. And I would love to have seen live, some scenes from him. So that's what I see me doing. And like when I was working on this tree, real casually on this day, or when I just did a little pruning, but then when I did this repot, and worked on this tree, I tell y'all, I mean, I was in bonsai heaven more than I've been ever in my life, to just be up there and to be in the serenity of it all, and work on trees, which I don't do very much up there. If you go back and look at my 2 or 3 years of vlogging from up there, how many times have I worked on a tree? Maybe twice.
Okay.
So on these vlogs I've shared, I think I've worked on trees 2, maybe 3 times max in a couple of years. So it's not my work on tree place yet, but I'm really on the verge. It's very, very close. I think next year, knock on wood, next year, I say that now, and I got a lot of stuff to do between now and a couple of years from now, but I think next year will be that year where I'm really going to start seeing some time to work on trees and seeing some progress on some of these projects.
That's all we need with bonsai, just time and patience. It really does give you a lesson in patience, just waiting for your bonsais to slowly develop over the years.
So yeah. I want to bring up another controversial topic. Are you ready?
Uh-oh. Let's do it.
So Dave and I talked offline earlier, and so my buddy Mark from Triple Root Bonsai sent me this post. Now, I don't know. I don't want to cause, this person, I think on their website saw something about their hashtags are bonsai, humor, and bonsai lovers. So, humor's in there, but this person said, this post was this: the most active bonsai forum members, and we're kind of a forum, I guess, but we're not a forum. I really wouldn't call us a forum. We're a BYC. We're a community of bonsai hobbyists, but it says the most active bonsai forum members haven't touched a tree in years.
I could see that. Yep.
Are we ruffling some feathers there or what?
They're touching the keyboards right there.
And they're touching the keyboards, not the trees. Yeah, a lot of opinions, a lot of things out there. You take everything with a grain of salt, but what's your take on that, Dave? What do you think about the BYC? Do you think we're all just keyboard touchers, or are we working on trees?
I think we're working on our trees. We all got our hands dirty. I could tell you right before I came in here, I had my hands dirty. I had perlite under my fingernails. So we're out there in the streets. We're doing what we got to do with our bonsai. How about you? I know you're proof in the pudding, because we always see you out there at Bonsai Acres doing stuff.
Yeah, well, and I just said I don't work on my trees up there very much. But yeah, and I've worked on my trees this year and last year less than any other year for sure. However, if you don't work on your trees at all, I mean, one, you have to at least water them. And yeah, I haven't done any massive like air layering or root grafting or thread grafting or approach grafting or blah, blah, blah. I mean, I haven't done hardcore things. I'm keeping my trees alive right now, but yeah, we're not just touching keyboards. I can say with 150% certainty that Steve's backyard is not a place where he's just tinkering on the keyboard. That man lives, eats, and breathes bonsai like Nigel does. And he's an inspiration to the dedication, the attention to detail, and all the things that we need in bonsai, the patience. So yeah, I think we're all doing some amazing things. And even like Dave, who mentioned, getting his cup of coffee and going out, and you mentioned this earlier too, get his cup of coffee and going out and looking at his trees. I mean, that's what we do this for, right? We want to go outside and enjoy our trees. We don't have to work on them every single day, but we all put plenty of time in our trees for sure.
I'm planning out having a bench in my bonsai garden, not to be on my phone doing nasty comments online, but to enjoy the atmosphere.
A shout out to Nims for talking about an automatic life, wildlife camera. I do have my camera up at Bonsai Acres, and it's kind of on my trees right now, so I know if I'm getting water, the water system's working, and last time I looked at my camera from home, my door was wide open to my gate number 1. I'm like, wide open? I'm just like inviting the deer in there to go munch on my trees. What the heck am I doing?
Oh my gosh.
It took me 3 days to get back up there, so I was really risking it. But I have seen a lot of deer, Nim, a lot of deer. There was an affiliated or a large red-headed woodpecker that came to the camera and said hello, and I went down. The camera hasn't taken really high-end pictures, but I love the videos and just knowing that there's nature walking by. And the deer have been the most fun to see them frolicking and just hanging out when I'm not there. I haven't seen them for a couple of trips up there now, but boy, the turkey are really hanging around. I had 2 turkey. So if anybody's ever been a hunter, I've not hunted very much in my life, but I have gone on 1 pheasant hunt, a duck hunt or 2, just a few times when I was a teenager with my dad. But I'm at Bonsai Acres. It's quiet, can't hear anything, and I take a couple steps forward, and then all of a sudden, and it's a turkey. And it happened twice last week. I had a turkey like get up like a grouse or a pheasant and just like take off into the trees, and it's so weird to see them fly because they usually just run. But I scared them enough where they took off, and it was like if I couldn't have hit that with a gun, I'd have been a pretty bad shot because they're huge.
Oh my god! And turkeys, they fly, but don't they kind of like jump a little? Because you won't just see a turkey flying. No,
you don't see turkeys flying unless you've scared it. Exactly, they're usually running away from you.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy! You got all the wildlife out there.
Fun stuff. You gotta like wildlife, though, right?
Absolutely.
I'm trying to work on my trees, but life is a pain in the ass sometimes. Well, look, even Steve's even got that going on.
There you
Steve,
go.
I'm sorry for whatever has been a pain in your ass, but for you to say pain in the ass, man, something must be going on, man. The BYC is with you, and I hope the pain in the assness it goes away.
Sometimes life is lifing.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes Thanks, Dave W.
We got 6 a.m. this morning with coffee up in hand. I was checking on my trees, removing debris, spraying for bugs, and minor trimming. Hey, that's some good maintenance right there. Sounds like a relaxing morning.
Maintaining your tree.
Yeah.
Maintaining your tree.
I am enjoying the mornings with all the ample light that we're having in the mornings these days. What is it, in like 2 weeks or 1 week when we lose an hour, gain an hour? Is that what it is? We gain an hour?
Well, summer solstice is what, a week away? Not even.
We lose more morning light, right?
I think so. I mean, it stays light pretty long through July and August for us, but that sun keeps. But yeah, we're going to lose light, and it's depressing though. We're not even officially in summer yet, but we already are talking about less light. That's depressing.
And speaking of summer, you're officially off now. Last time we talked, I don't think you were just wrapping up, right?
Yeah, this is my second official week on summer break starting tomorrow here. So back up to Bonsai Acres on Monday morning instead of the office. I can't tell you all how exciting that is.
That's awesome. Do you have any plans? I know we talked about like going on vacations and troubles with that with Bonsai. You have any trips coming up, or did you take most of your trips already?
No, I'm pretty tripless this summer because I'm building my cabin. So that's going to be my trips, is just Bonsai Acres. I am going to my cabin when I share with my family, the river property, going up there with my kids for Father's Day weekend. It's one of my favorite weekends of the year. We're going to go up there and it'll be just the 3 of us again. And I think that's going to change over time. I'm sure if significant others will join us more, but it'll be just the 3 of us up at the river, doing some fishing, bonfire, playing some bags, holes, whatever people call it, bag toss games. And it's just really one of my favorite times of year. So if anybody who has had kids that are out of the house and you miss them and you're either new to empty nesting or it's been around for a while, it's just good to see your kids. You don't get to see them very often. So I'm looking forward to that. But other than that, really Bonsai Acres, man, the cabin, y'all, is going to be, I have the permit. Where is it? I have the permit, all the permit ready to turn in. I'm literally going to drive. It's so close to where I'm building my cabin, the permit place, the building in the county that I'm in. I'm going to drop it off person to person on Monday and say, here's my permit.
There you go.
And I hope they can give me an answer within days on if I can start digging.
Got to cross all your T's and dot your I's and all that good stuff. Make it legal, right?
Yeah.
Man, because you're doing the foundation this summer, right? Isn't that what I think you remember?
Well,
saying,
the goal by November 1st is to have 4 walls and a roof. So, but the biggest thing, of course, is, I really have to take my time and do the foundations right. Up in northern Minnesota, y'all, I have to have my foundations 5 feet under the ground, frost line, 5 feet down.
Oh, wow.
So jeez. I'm going to rent an excavator. I'm not digging by hand, y'all. And I'm going to make my little avenues, my little spaces for the all the footings to go in. I'm going to construct those, get my footing tubes and such. And that'll be a daunting task. I've not made something of this scale with big footings. My dad's cabin is actually on, I think, cinder blocks. So it's not like built in like below frost line stuff, but this has got to be a little bit more home-like for when I hope to retire up there. So not a lot of trips. How about you, Dave?
Well, we usually like to go up to Lake Wallenpaupack, which is in, I guess that's northern Pennsylvania, northeastern Pennsylvania. We usually get up there for about a week. So very relaxing, very in the same vein of what you're talking about, campfires, just hanging out, having a good time, and spending time with the kids. Because I know one day that, my kids are, they are 9 and 13. So I don't have this time forever. So you got to enjoy it while they're here. So absolutely.
For sure.
Yes. So just about a week up there probably at some point. So I got to get that watering system going so that I have family that will be able to come over and take care of it, but
that's good.
Want to be a little as self-reliant as possible.
I had to laugh. I saw this comment just in passing real quick, but it says it's also your second camera for videos. When I was working on this last video, I actually used some footage of my nature cam that went off automatically, of course, because I was moving and working on a tree. And so I got the little footage of me working on a tree from my nature cam. So it was quite funny. Thank you, Steve, for noticing my little, Steve was noticing my little extra tricks on this last video. I put a little extra effort into some production value, if you will.
I saw that. I saw that little, you were walking towards the camera and it went between your legs and then that came out the back. I'm like,
there you go.
He's getting fancy.
Look out. Dave's having fun up at Bonsai Acres.
There you go.
Dave brings up a big point here. Everybody's asked about my PSGF, and if I would have planned better, perhaps, or if I had enough gumption to try this, I should build a cabin/PSGF combo. I've seen some pretty amazing, if you've ever looked online enough, there's some pretty amazing people out there who do some amazing things. I've seen a couple of people's homes totally engulfed, mini homes engulfed in a greenhouse.
Yeah.
So, or it's part of the build. And so, I've definitely thought of PSGF. And actually, there's passive homes out there. There's passive solar homes that hardly use any gas, any energy from the grid. They're all kind of off grid and very similar concept to a passive solar greenhouse, where they're using this thermal mass from underground and you're rotating the air. And if I had air tubes underneath the cabin, like I did for the PSGF, and in the middle of summer, if I needed air conditioning, you just turn on a 40-watt fan, brings that air from down below, and you're good to go. So you could do that.
You could always do it on the second cabin down the road, though.
Well, my pipe dream is a PSGF part 2, and I would like to build that. But what I'm going to do is build this time a passive solar greenhouse. That's a greenhouse, but attached to it, like I mentioned, maybe in my 15-minute video of the whole build. Behind it, the north side of it would be the cold frame, and the south side of it is the greenhouse, and make it big enough where I can work in there with a couple of people. You can be in there all year long because the solar gain from the greenhouse effect. And the dreams are there, Dave. The dreams are there. And so we just got to see what's going to happen. Theatric, Steve? What are you talking about? I'm not being theatrical. Am I being dramatic? What's going on here?
I think he's talking about when you're doing the fancy camera angles and stuff.
Yeah, I know.
I was thinking about, like, you have all your Bonsai Acres, what you're on, like, vlog 30 something, 36 or so. I'm like, man, you're gonna have one day. I know you do like the yearly updates, but one day you're gonna have like 5-6 years. You can have like one solid video of here's what it was like at the beginning, and here's what it's like now.
Yeah, I watch a lot of videos with people who are making structures. I watch a lot of people who are off-gridders, living in mini homes, and their journey. And a lot of them are polished videos of the done deal. My journey on vlogging is actually videotaping the journey. But you're right. In about 2-3 years from now, this will be a 5-6 year project. And that'll be one heck of a summary video, right? Like and I'm already thinking, Dave, funny you say this. If you all remember when I looked at all my land, not all of you, of course, watched all my videos and all the vlogs, but in all my vlogs where I looked at land, I showed you all like 5 or 6 properties until I found the one I picked. And this was my current place up in Minnesota, northern Minnesota. But when I was in the field of this really long, tall grass, and there were all the ferns, and I'm in this grass, and I used my telephoto lens from the driveway, zoomed up like 200 feet to where I was standing, and I'm just standing there, open up my arms, and I say, "Welcome to Bonsai Acres," and it's in my intro of Bonsai Acres, right? Mm-hmm. So I think this year, with now the 2 fences in there, I'm going to shoot a new open for my show for next year or for later on this year, and I'm going to get some new aerial shots as well. But yeah, I was going to do a new intro where I fade from the green, what used to be just raw land, to what my progress is so far, and try to be in relatively the same spot on the land and say, "Welcome to Bonsai Acres," which it looks entirely different. I mean, it's so phenomenally different.
That's amazing. You got to put it like find a nice little rock and just set it right there. That's where we put the tripod next year.
There you go. Easier. I also, what I might do, I don't know if it'll be the exact spot, Dave, but here's what I've talked about with some of my friends. Where that spot is kind of between the two fences, the 2 gates of trees. And so between the two, I'm going to put a post or somewhere, or maybe at the entrance of now gate number 2 or whatever, but I'm going to put this post on the ground. And if some of you older folks who watched the old television show MASH, you remember they had a post in the ground with all the places that all the people were from and all the miles to get there from where they were in the Korean War. And so I thought I would do that and recreate that MASH post scene. Well, I'm going to put a big old post in the ground. It's going to be about 10 feet tall, 8 to 10 feet minimum. And I'm going to have all the posts. So when Nate comes from Sequim, Washington, he's going to put Nate Sequim 1,400 and whatever, 50 miles, and when Dave comes, he's going to put Pennsylvania, he's going to put blah, blah, blah miles. And I'm going to have all the people that come up and visit me. I'm going to have posts from, that'll be the BYC.
Oh, that's awesome. Hey, just getting the community to get together right over there at Bonsai Acres.
I'm just having so much fun with it. I hope some people have fun with me.
Absolutely.
So as we wrap up today, Dave, what are we at here? 48 minutes. Yeah, we're almost at the knocking on the door of summertime. So the spring rush is coming to an end. What's your journey like for spring and summer beginning? What's on the horizon for you?
Well, I know last year about this time I was super busy, didn't really get a chance to do as much of the pruning and work on the trees that I wanted to, and I didn't really work on as much. And I'm kind of in the same boat, not quite as busy as last year, but I kind of want to let my trees grow as much as possible this year and just let them be. One thing that I'm thinking about doing is I want to up pot a lot of my trees, not necessarily repot them, but I want to create a bunch of little wooden boxes, because I'd rather have them have more room to grow, because I have them in most of my trees are in smaller containers. But one thing I want to start doing more is just making some wooden boxes, throwing a bunch of soil in there, up potting them because I'm not going to do repots this time of year. And just let them grow more.
Nice.
Just give them more room to grow. So that is one thing that I want to do more of my trees, is slip them into something, give them a lot more room to grow. Thinking about switching my soil over to akadama as well.
Ooh, boy.
I know. So I gotta do that as well. But yeah, that's the main thing, and just let the tops of the trees kind of grow. The only things that I gotta keep an eye out are my dawn redwoods and my Chinese elms. I mean, I gotta constantly prune those things because they get out of hand quite quickly.
They
But
do. They do. Yeah, no, I think there's a lot of merit in what you say. And last year, because it was a tough year, of course, I let a lot of things grow, which was fine. And I think you realize in a hurry, we do love our trees a lot. And every time you touch a tree, people say that when you touch a tree, you slow it down, you stress it out a little bit, when you prune it. So, a prune in the middle of summer and a hot summer day here in Minnesota is probably making the tree go, what in God's name are you doing to me? Stop it. So, yeah, there's things we can do, but I like the project mode, right? It's like get things set up for up potting or for the fall or even for next spring is fantastic because sometimes I think we just have to leave our trees alone.
yeah, we can definitely overlove them. And I see what Dave said. Akadama equals big bucks, too expensive. I do, yes. Yes, from what I understand, I mean, Dave used Akadama, so like I'm sure it's like what I've heard. It's almost like I use a lot of perlite, calcine clay, and a little bit of orchid bark, but I know it's probably at least double of what I'm going to be paying. But
Yeah.
from what I know in the long run,
The soil debate is a tough debate for sure. And yeah, it is or expensive. What's nice, part of the reason I did Bonsai Acres years ago, my business, was to pay for my hobby. So I order bulk soil, akadama, pumice, and lava rock for club members. And so the little bit I make from club members, because they give them a good deal, because I'm not trying to rob them of it. I want them to make it affordable as well. So they're getting a deal, and the extra residual I get from my sales allows me to use akadama. Otherwise, when I started in this craft 10 years ago, I didn't touch akadama. Are you kidding me? I was even trying the old kitty litter experiment. One of the kitty litters that's not clumping style. The more granular rock style of kitty litter. And people always say, yeah, you can grow bonsai in almost anything as long as you have the right things in there to maybe retain a little water, retain a little nutrients. You're giving it some fertilizer. You know how to water it so it's not waterlogged or too dry. I mean, all those things. Yeah, expensive. Yeah, is it the best out there? I don't know. Dan Robinson doesn't think so, right? And Andrew Robson does. Andrew Robson, his mix is like 75-25. Yep. I mean, he's using almost all akadama like Ryan Neal. And it's like, well, yeah, they can afford it. They have a bonsai business that's doing very well, and they probably can afford that now. But even he says, Robson, he talks about in one of his videos recently, he talks about how, it's expensive. And so he wants to try to, use it as wisely as he can. But he also doesn't repot quite as often because of the expense. And Dan Robinson talks about how the soil breaks down and turns into gunk. Andrew Robson says when it breaks down, that makes the roots of these trees get even smaller, finer feeder roots, right?
Yeah.
So what's the winning answer and who's right? I mean, it's kind of crazy, right? But yeah, if you can't afford it, don't use it. Go get turfus. I mean, if you spend $8 for a bag of turfic, it's gonna be $60 for akadama.
Yeah. It is. We'll see how this experiment goes. Maybe I'll get a couple bags and be like, it hurts the wallet a little bit too much. But
here's one thing I've noticed, and I've talked with Jonas Dupuy about this. Andrew Robson has thrown his hat into this a little bit. People stopped using lava rock for a while, but then they use it again. But Jonas Dupuy has done a study where he did, lava rock, all lava rock and all pumice, and with pine trees, I think, and the tree, the lava rock trees didn't look as good, but their roots were phenomenal. And then the pumice trees looked better, but their roots were kind of so, or vice versa. I don't remember. Sorry for not knowing exactly. But when people put harvested trees in pumice, they do it for a reason. Have you ever seen the roots with just a pot of pumice in trees? Mm-hmm. Oh my God. So I did 2 Siberian elm collections last spring. So a year ago spring. I thought one was dead. It's in the ground, and it completely came back because they're hardy, just like a Chinese elm. But they're very, very hardy up here in Minnesota, Siberian elms. But I had them in 100% humus. 100% humus, which is what you do when you collect trees most of the time, and most of the people I've talked with. And oh my gosh, the roots. All it is humus and watering it over the summer. And I didn't even get to water them as much as I did because of my personal life last year. And oh my gosh, the roots. Unbelievable, the amount of roots.
They do well?
That's the Siberian elm, and maybe it doesn't work with every single species, but everything I've put in pumice has been unbelievable, right? So for my mix now, Dave, I do about 50% pumice, 25% akadama, 25% lava rock. And so I'm getting more pumice in my mix, which means less lava rock or less akadama, a little bit less expensive, but it is still spendier than turfus or some of the other stuff. But
yeah,
do what you have access with, and do what you can afford.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. Just do what you can, what you have access to, that's around you. With the whole, I guess it seems like with almost every conversation about bonsai, it always eventually comes to soil, right? And that's we could continue to talk till we're blue in the face about the soil debate, right?
We can.
But Eric D said 100% hummus. I mean, that definitely get a little gunky.
Pumice with a P. Yeah.
Oh man,
that's funny. Yeah. So yeah, keep talking to people and do what you can. Go ahead, Dave.
Oh no, I didn't want to switch gears too much, but I wanted to ask you real quick. I think it was on one of your triple root bonsai posts on Instagram. I don't know if it was you or one of your other buddies working on a barberry. Did I see one of you guys working on a barberry?
Yeah, that was me.
Yeah. How was that? Do you have that? Because they're kind of prickly.
They are prickly. You have to be careful when you work on a barberry, for sure. But even my Brazilian rain tree has thorns, right? I mean, you have to be careful. But they're such cool trees. That tree, since I repotted it like about 2 weeks ago, I went back yesterday for our triple root pop up, and there's already like 5 shoots growing up that have gained inches of growth. I mean, and after the stress of what I did, it still just like took off. They're very, very fun trees. The coloring on their leaves, some of the species are so beautiful, and they have smaller leaves. Some of them will have the berries on there. So they're just I think they're fantastic bonsai material. And because they're hardy, I'm going to get a couple of those in the ground up at Bonsai Acres too, because they get gnarly and twisty and very funky looking over time. When I worked on the one with my dad, that's one I lost this year, the one from my dad, 30-year-old barberry bush from his backside of his yard. It was just gnarly at the bottom and dying and broken off, but it sends up suckers every single year. They just want to keep going. You just have to try to form it into a tree shape as early as you can in its journey. And then kind of like, I suppose, a Chinese elm, you do have to keep your eye on it a little bit so it doesn't get out of control.
Okay.
If you let that go for 2 straight years, you'd have branches, and then some of those branches might grow stick straight for a while, right? So you want to keep cutting it so it keeps bending and stuff. But good stuff.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's interesting because I only bring it up because I have 5 barberries on my land here that my wife's grandfather put in the ground a while ago, and I'm like, I wonder, I could probably take one of those out and make a little bit of a yardadori.
You could.
It's grown as a hedge right now, so I'm like, when I saw you post that, I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll try the barberry. That was one that I was debating digging up and trying out. So
Dave said, aren't barberries also tick magnets? Well, gosh, I hope not. I'm not going to introduce them to Bonsai Acres if they're tick magnets. I already have enough ticks up there.
Yikes. Well, we already know we're not fans of ticks over here. Oh, and we got Wally in the chat too.
I also heard recently, welcome to Wally who just joined, and Lee is on there too. He's been on for a while though, but I also heard recently that there's a Japanese barberry, I think there's a couple of versions of barberry that might be outlawed in Minnesota soon. Like you have until 2027 to the nurseries that have them can keep selling them through 2027. Yeah. So I don't know which barberry it was, some Japanese variety of it or something. I don't know if our state even has that kind, but even some of those are now going to be discontinued.
Yeah, that's right. Because over here in Pennsylvania, the barberry, I don't believe it might be, this year or next year, you can't buy them at nurseries. But from what I understand, if you have a legacy one on your property, they're not going to be like knocking on your door, get rid of this barberry.
Right. And do you remember why? Do you remember why? Are they considered invasive? I mean, what?
Yep. Man. So they're invasive because they get the little berries, and then so the birds will eat them. They'll put the droppings in the woods or whatever, and they tend to shade out all the natives. So it's not that they're bad; they just tend to grow up too fast, and then they shade out.
Yeah. Just like what's the big bush we try to get rid of in Minnesota all the time? Buckthorn. Is it buckthorn?
Oh, okay, buckthorn. Yeah, we have let's see, we have a couple in our area too. I know everybody hates the Bradford pear. That's one that's pretty horrible. But yeah, lots of invasives. I mean, some of the invasives make pretty good bonsai though. I know
They do.
who is it? Somebody has it. I mean, English ivy. I've seen. I stayed at this Airbnb a couple years ago and had the woods in the background, and English ivy completely consumed the whole woods. Like every
Really?
tree you saw was
Oh
just
yeah,
wrapped
yeah,
around
yeah.
it.
Yeah, I've seen
But
some of that.
English ivy, I somebody has a English ivy bonsai. I want to say maybe Nigel. But they could make some of the invasives make decent bonsai.
Yeah. Wisteria in
Yeah.
Connecticut. Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go. And then I like what I love this from Wally. So now here's remember we talked about people aren't working on bonsai trees, they're typing away. Not Wally. I gave a barberry away yesterday, but only because I rescued 16 trees and had to get rid of 11 of them and kept 5 for myself. The bonsai shuffle continues all times of the year with some of us.
It seems like whenever I'm like, you know what, I really need to cut back on my collection. I'll like be on Facebook Marketplace and be like, oh, I can buy 5 ficus trees for $5.
Hey, that's pretty cool.
Oh, how about that? Or like somebody has a Japanese maple on the ground they want to get rid of.
Oh, that's right. All right.
I think we can all relate to that.
Dave, it's been a joy again. We're at an hour and 1 minute. We probably should cut this short. Thanks for hanging out with us, everybody. As always, I like that we force ourselves to stop, smell the roses, stop and talk bonsai. We're not just clickers and typers. We're doers. We're hobbyists that love this, and we love this community. And so we're going to keep it alive. We're going to keep doing this forum so we can learn about all this good stuff, including why barberries and wisterias are mysteriously invasive. So
yeah,
fantastic.
Always a pleasure, my friend.
Let's get Dave on here. I don't know how shy you are, Dave, with cameras, but Dave, we got to get you on for maybe the next show for talking about PAs. That'd be great. It's summertime. We can talk PAs. Drop me a line at bonsaiacres@gmail.com, or I can email you. Also, of course, you can send stuff to Dave if you want, dreamingbonsai@gmail.com. Let us know if you want to talk about a subject or if you have a guest we can talk to. One of the subjects I wanted to bring up at some point in our journey here with BYC, I don't know if we've talked about it on the air or not, Dave, or offline, is there's been some banter in my life in the last year about women in bonsai. You know, why aren't there more? The ones that are in it, it'd be nice if we could talk to a few. We've talked about Angelica Ramirez, who is a very prominent figure in bonsai and really making a big splash in this community of bonsai and what she's done in pottery. So any topics in bonsai that people would like to talk about, send them our way. Or if you know someone who'd be a great interview, that's what we're here for, to talk bonsai and get other people's perspectives. Right, Dave?
Absolutely. And it's always a pleasure seeing everybody showing up in the chat over here. We appreciate you guys. And I always look forward to these chats every month. So yes, always a pleasure, my friend.
Awesome. Well, you all take care. Dave, you take care. Have an enjoyable summer. We'll figure out a date for July after maybe Independence Day. If anybody celebrate. Boy, I heard a couple boomers in my neighborhood yesterday. I'm like, what's going on? It's the 13th of June.
And pre-gaming.
Oh my gosh, were they pre-gaming? But we'll figure out a date, everybody, and we'll talk bonsai in the BYC. So take care, everybody, and we'll catch you soon.
All right, take it easy, everybody.
Oh, I didn't put this hitting, Dave. Wait, let's do this. Ready?
Oh, okay.
See you, Dave.
Bye.